Welcome to Fast Fridays presented by Maconi Setup Shop. Tonight we're taking the street stock to the high banks of Bristol for some racing action in the last great Coliseum. For those of you who haven't joined us before, Fast Fridays is a weekly series by Maconi Setup Shop featuring a varying car and track combination that's completely free to take part in. Yes, I said free to come here and race here in this broadcasted event. And remember folks, you help decide a car and track combo every week by voting on the Maconi Setup Shop social media pages. So make sure to follow along and vote for what you want to see next. My name is David Kreutz, and joining me in the broadcast booth tonight is Jacob Reeves, with Ryan Bauer working the controls as our producer using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Jacob, this is a very fun track and we are expecting a great race here tonight. What can we expect to see here from the high banks in Bristol, Tennessee?
Absolute chaos, honestly, David. It's going to be absolute chaos with these street stocks here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Beautiful racetrack in Bristol, Tennessee. Half a mile long. I mean, you see it right there, 1961. A lot of history at this bull ring, if you will. 24 to 28 degrees of banking. These corners really, really steep. And, you know, honestly, turn 3 and 4 to me, I've raced here numerous times. Turn 3 and 4 is a little bit more narrower than turn 1 and 2. Actually, excuse me, turn 1 and 2 is actually more narrower than turn 3 and 4. 3 and 4 is real wide, banked out. At least that's what it seems like. On TV and from what the viewers are going to see, everything kind of just looks like it's just a normal track. But folks, this place is absolutely not. And this track's went through so many configurations, different configurations, where it used to be where they would be slap on the bottom of the racetrack. Now it's turned into a multi-groove track where they can run right up against the wall, right down close to the apron, or run right smack dab in the middle of the racetrack. So a lot of lines for these street stocks here tonight. A lot of great racing, a lot of history here. Who's going to get the win tonight? We'll find out here in the next hour.
And absolutely, it's going to be a fun hour of racing here on Maconi Entertainment. Qualifying just about wrapping up, but there's still a little bit of time to go till then. We're looking at over 20 drivers that have taken time so far, and there's still many drivers registering. Matter of fact, looking at close to 40 in the session. Doesn't mean all of them are going to race, but there's quite a lot we're looking out for tonight. And as you mentioned, Bristol, always exciting. And tonight, the Street Stocks, a car that is free on the iRacing platform, so if you have a subscription, you'll be able to make yourself an entry so long as you have that Bristol Motor Speedway circuit that we need tonight. A seating capacity of 146,000 virtual fans, hoping for a good crowd tonight here watching the stream as well. And with 100 laps on the table, it might sound like a lot of laps, but that time flies quick. Maybe we're not going to be seeing strategy, but we've seen some crazy races as of recent in Fast Friday's competition. Jacob, you think there's going to be a bit more that goes to it tonight?
I believe so. I mean, we've got a lot of great drivers in the field. Obviously, the boss man, Jeffrey Maconi's in there. His second in command, Joey Masevich. Got some more drivers. Brandon Evans, another sponsored driver with the Maconi Setup Shop. And he's actually one of them that's taught me a lot about some of the next-gen cars. So that's going to be a key in that. A bunch of guys in there. Kyle Brummett, we've seen him on numerous Fast Fridays. Send it Aaron Shiflett, as Braden Laster has mentioned in the past. He straight up sent it when we went to Iowa. So you got a lot of guys here in this field. It's going to be a fantastic race right here. I cannot wait to get this thing started.
And it's a thriller as qualifying has been decided. Kyle Brummett takes home the pole position, and he's going to be just ahead of Brandon Evans with the second spot to round out row 1. Then from there, Joey Masevich is going to qualify third with Tobias Matheson in the 4th position. And the top 5 concluded by Andrew Ford, the triple-digit threat right beside Jordan Hill with the 16.303 for the number 28. Michael Provo is going to be in 7th, and it's going to be Brayton Laster in 8th, and 9th place then going to be held by the driver of the number 60. Tyler McDowell, with the boss man Jeff Maconi concluding your top 10.
Then you got Michael Davis will be in 11th. Looks like Pod 2, you know, that's a new one right there, folks. Going to be in 12th right here. University of Northern Ohio right there. That's going to be right there in number 12 spot. Then you got to have Rodney Guard. He will be 13th. Got Caleb Clennard in 14th. Greg Kaloff will be in 15th. Gavin McCool will be 16th. Then you're going to have Colton Gabbard Cortota. I'm sure I probably missed that one, but that's going to be 17th. You got Wesley Fuse will be 18th. Lonnie Estep will be 19th. And as I mentioned, Send It, Aaron Shiflett will be in 20th.
From there, Dan Snyder's going to be 21st with Donovan Copley in the 22nd spot. Copley going to be there with a 17.075. Michael Cruz is going to be in 23rd with Jake Bolt putting it in 24th. And row 13 is going to comprise of Zach McDaniel and Chris Strickland, drivers who do not take qualifying time. Then from there, Jason Washburn going to be put at the 27th spot with John Crawford immediately dropping down to 30th. And from there, drivers who have chosen not to take times, including Ryan Magliano, Mark Thrash, Dylan Potts, Allison Gamble, and with the 35th spot, it's Brandon Millam right beside Miguel De La Cruz. 17 rows of drivers, and already the pace car gets to action. Your Maconi Setup Shop weather conditions for tonight's event, very fair. Partly cloudy skies with 83-degree Fahrenheit air temperature and 85 on the track. Very small difference, shouldn't mean all too much as the race gets going. Winds westbound of 7 miles an hour, so bit of a windy night here in Tennessee, but all of the factors considered, should be great weather for some racing. Jacob, break down the race analysis here from Bristol.
Yeah, and we're showing about 100 laps, 55 minutes, whichever one comes first. That's why we basically call this past Fridays an hour of competition. Pit road speed limit will be 35 miles an hour. Unlimited set of tires, so these guys will be able to take however many tires that they want. And folks, that will be a key. You will see a lot of that if we see a lot of cautions come out. A lot of guys may duck down and get 4 fresh tires because this track will absolutely eat tires alive. 3 green, white checkers, 1 fast repair, and also a custom fixed setup by Maconi Setup Shop.
And as always here at Fast Fridays, those custom setups giving us great racing, and down the back straightaway we go. This time by Kyle Brummett's got the advantage. Taking a look at our onboard cameras for tonight's event, we've got them in the real world. You'll see Jeff Maconi going to be on the left side of your screen. He's got himself set up, VR headset, the real monitor as well. A lot of choices here in iRacing as the pace car drops down a pit road. Let's get a lap here with the roar of the engines as we're green for the Bristol Motor Speedway.
Very clean start right here. Got Kyle Brummett on the top. Masevich right on his inside. Brandon Evans right back here, right behind him in the cookout car. He's actually going to try to even send it on the bottom lane. Maybe looking 3 wide, not able to do it. But Masevich still holding very hard right here on the bottom lane. Brummett and him make contact, dooring each other off of 4. Brummett gets in the fence. Masevich tries to get down and stay off of him. All of this going on as you see riding on board with Brandon Evans. Right behind him, and Masevich gets turned. Brummett into the fence. Masevich is around. Evans is around. Big ass pile up going into turn 3. Maconi gets involved as well. Heartbreak right here, right off the bat, as the big one strikes here at Bristol.
Your race leader taken from the front of the field all the way to the back in one foul swoop, showing Masevich as we zoom in there. We'll take him down the front straightaway, nearly 3 wide the whole way through, and Masevich is going to find contact as he's all the way down the bottom side, gets hooked up top, and it's going to become ricochet after ricochet for every driver in the field. Either you avoid him or you make contact. There's no in between. The 64 goes back straight. They'll look further in the back of the field. Kyle Brummett also involved. And here's an onboard perspective with Jeff Maconi, who's running 8 beforehand. Now it looks like he's going to be officially scored in the 8th spot, and we'll see his VR perspective as he's going to be going through, backs it down, gets right by the 64, and luckily for his sake, no damage, and he'll keep on driving here as he gets by the first caution of the night.
And it gets really tough coming off of turn number 2 over there. That's where all of that took place. It gets real tight over there coming from the bottom of the racetrack, trying to slide up to the top. And Masevich thought he was clear. And these spotters here on iRacing, they are not dead on with trying to get you clear and whatnot. So I think that might have a lot to do with it. But looks like we're going to bring in the boss man, Jeffrey Maconi right here. David, have you got him right here?
And it looks like we do. Jeff Maconi running right now inside of the top 10, able to avoid that first wreck here, and you're looking pretty good so far as it's going to be a wild night in Bristol ahead of us. Early start looking good. How do you feel with the rest of the race in mind as we've only just begun?
Nervous. I mean, I don't know how I survived that. It was actually insane. I'm in Discord with like 4 of the guys that wrecked, and so I was just sitting in there, oh my god, just dodging them back and forth. That was absolute insanity. But yeah, feeling good. I got no practice because I was down at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway all day. We're helping out William Hale on the 62 Pro Late model. So last I heard, they're having some difficulties and may not be at the track tomorrow. That is TBD. So hopefully, fingers crossed, they can get to the track.
We'd of course hope for some real-world success there for William Hale and the entire crew. And tonight, of course, just before the real-world action, you get a taste of this grassroots racing in Bristol. Street stocks, they've given us a lot of memories and big moments in iRacing. It's a free part of the content, so a great crowd coming out to race as well. How do you feel when it comes to Fast Fridays, having so many drivers race in, race out, no matter the combination?
It's a lot of fun. I love that we can do this every week. It's a great series. It's a lot of fun. We have a great time each and every week. So I think next week we'll have another fun combination. Not sure what it'll end up being, but someone's going flying by me on the inside. Yeah, it's just so much fun having all these people out here to come and race with us. I love it. Every single week I really look forward to Fast Fridays.
And we've been looking forward all week to get this race going. Now, 1 lap to green, Jeff, so before we leave you here, anything else you'd like to add?
I gotta just hope I survive. Thank you to Maconi Setup Shop, Maconi Entertainment, the Bruzy Racewear, Ron the Snack Guy, Victory Sim, WSMN Broadcasting, everyone that makes this possible. And be sure to sign up for our event on November 25th, benefiting Movember. That's going to be a ton of fun. The Saturdays for the boys. I absolutely love it. We've raised over $3,000 in the past 2 years of doing it, and I'm looking to double that this year. So please sign up, please donate, and it's all for a great cause.
And there we have it, that Jeff Maconi, the boss man, brought back to his voice chat as we will bring you the first restart of the day. Green flags back out from Bristol, and Jordan Hill gets to jump on the field.
Yeah, and Andrew Ford was on the bottom. He was actually graded up first, but did not get the start that he wanted. So Jordan Hill all the way going to the penthouse, all the way up to the top of the racetrack. Right behind him, Brayton Laster back here, the pizza man, if you will. Right on the outside, got Tobias Matheson on his bottom door right here. And wow, Ford's gonna get turned. Everybody trying to get around. Everybody scattered, and now they're spinning around like a top back in the back. Wow, big caution, big accident coming off of turn number 2. Wow, big time. Tobias Matheson getting into Ford, turning him around, and then everybody else just trying to duck and dodge Ford, trying not to get any more damage on their race cars.
Andrew Ford gets the worst of it for the second caution of the day, and once again, your leaders make contact, and that's going to bring through the second caution flag. When the number 193 comes right back up, he gets hit multiple times over, and that second hit in particular was especially hard to follow through with. It's a spin and a spin, 360 after 360, and Andrew Ford once again going to find some trouble here, as you'll see him ride back up at the top of the track, get pulverized, and just like that, cautions out again. Track blocker, a few drivers also getting involved, and a near miss there at the end of the yellow. And either way, second caution and 13 laps, and already proven to have some wild racing to kick off the action here in Bristol.
And that right there was just a typical racing incident right there when Tobias Madison got into the back of him. I mean, Jordan, he was just, or excuse me, yeah, I believe it was Jordan, or it might have been Andrew. It was Andrew Ford on the bottom. Ford just tried to just check up just a little bit to try to make the corner, not slide up, because Brayton Laster was coming with a full head of steam on the top side, so Ford didn't want to slide up and get into him. Might have put the brakes on just a little bit too hard. Tobias Madison not able to get on the brakes fast enough, tagged him in the back end, spins him around, but Ford tried to keep the car down. He tried to keep it straight, but these street stocks, they're very, very hard to try to keep down. They're very hard to try to keep straight. So when your back end gets jacked up and you get knocked sideways, you're basically along for the ride, and I'm sure that's exactly what he was thinking, and he experienced that, and everybody else seeing that, trying to make abrasive action, trying to get around it any way they possibly could. Some of them even going all the way down to the pit lane wall, which is normal here at Bristol if there's a big wreck like that. But you see Tobias Madison, one of the drivers, looks like he is thinking about going in pit road, maybe not. But check out Brandon Evans, got the Got the virtual cam right here. Got his cam lined up right here. Brandon Evans, one of the sponsored drivers from Maconi Setup Shop, ran in a league race that I called last night. He done pretty good till he spun out on the last lap, or on the last turn, excuse me. But Brandon Evans, one of the more decorated drivers here in the field tonight.
And we've got a variety of drivers, as you mentioned, the decorations of the field. We got ARCA drivers, guys who are pretty well regarded in iRacing competition. It's a great mix of competitors. Doesn't matter your level of experience or where you came from in your racing background. Fast Friday is available to anyone who is watching, who's on iRacing. And tonight at Bristol goes to show how that clash of drivers brings great action. 15 laps in, so far so good. As we come through this time by in anticipation of our next restart, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Maconi Setup Shop and Maconi Entertainment, the official setup shop of eNASCAR, your home for setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, event promotion, and even more on the iRacing platform, with subscriptions available as low as $8 a month. The official series sponsor of the C-Fix series as well, and as I mentioned, November 25th at 7 p.m. Eastern, the Saturday for the Boys charity race, third annual running, racing over $3,000 in the past 2 years. Check out Movember.com/M/Maconi to make a donation, as we hope to continue our events here on November. It's a great month for action, and we'll kick it off with a bang. Green flag flies for the second restart of the day. Jordan Hill leads Brayton Laster into one.
And Brayton Laster up top. Looks like he's going to get bypassed by the boss man, Jeffrey Maconi. Maconi will slide up into that second spot. Brayton Laster really trying to hook this top side, as we got another caution on the speedway way back in the field. Not real sure exactly what happened. We'll get you a replay on that. Wow, Brandon Evans, I believe that was him in pit road. A couple of other drivers back here caught up in it as well, but very unfortunate to see, 3 cautions happen this quick right here in this 100-lap race.
And a lot of drivers caught up in the back of the field this time. Donovan Copley in particular, Michael Cruz. You'll see Copley gets turned to that number 62 up to the top of the track, gets spun back and forth, and just like that, going to end up in reverse by the time the yellow flag settles in. 18 laps, and we've seen 3 cautions so far. Very little room for green flag racing. An unfortunate way to kick off the night, but there's certainly a lot of time to have a little more racing to be seen. 4 wide, just barely, and you'll see there, Copley's going to be taking up the track, but I don't think the 4 wide is the reason for the wreck. It just looked like a little too much room being used up top, and a lot of room being given to the bottom side, so just looks like not using that room proper, and the caution flies all over again.
David, I'll disagree with you on that. I think the 4 wide is the main reason why that happened. I mean, there's just so much aggression being shown out here on the racetrack this early in the race. Some of these guys really need to be thinking that, we got a long race to go. This is lap 19 of 100 laps here in the street stocks. I'm not real sure why this 4 wide come to play right here for some reason. I mean, it just, there's no reason to start making moves. I mean, granted, he had a hell of a run going up through the middle, and then all of a sudden he thinks, that he can just stick it right there, but that hole is very, very tight right there. I'm just curious as to why he thought he had that move. I mean, like I said, he had a lot of momentum coming off of 2 for the restart, and then I just thought, honestly, at that point, just lift because the hole is going to close up, and if you don't lift and the hole does close up, that right there is what's going to happen.
And it looks like already going to be closing up. Another caution on the day. 3rd yellow flag leads to a 3rd restart. Back on the way, led by Jordan Hill, and this time Jeff Maconi. Let's hope now for some green flag racing as they head through turns 1 and 2. Back straightaway, going to see a lot of side-by-side action. Nothing really crazy just yet. A little bit of 3 wide further on, back outside the 20th position. But most drivers now settling in and understanding if you want to get green flag racing in, that is something that falls on you as they come through this time by. Field is going to be largely held in the hands of Jordan Hill, but Brayton Laster is fighting his own right as they come through this time by. It's going to be riding on board right now with a 44 machine with a wiggle up top, and it's going to be the Valvoline machine. Not this time going to be Copley, but instead going to be Tyler McDowell seeing some trouble, and the high side going to get him loose. Luckily keeps it straight.
Kept it straight, and we stay green. Awesome job by Tyler McDowell to able to corral that car and keep it straight. But up front, Brayton Laster has caught Jordan Hill all over his back bumper, trying to put the pressure on Jordan Hill. All this going on right behind. is Jeffrey Maconi sitting here watching every bit of it, trying to make it a 3-horse race. Tobias Matheson, he's trying to slide up here, maybe make it a 4-horse race, but Brayton Laster, the pizza man, is all over Jordan Hill's back bumper, trying to put down the pressure. They're actually coming up on some lap traffic, but Hill, Laster, Maconi, Matheson, and Mark Thrash is the top 5, as the top 4 drivers have separated themselves from the pack.
The leading driver getting away from the rest of the field with an opportunity to go green at now 26 laps in and making big time. As they come through this time around 26 out of 100, race leader going to be Jordan Hill, but Brayton is still right there and making a lot of time up on that bottom side. Jeff Maconi opts to go to the middle, and they're going to take it single file even still as the caution flies again. The reason looking to be Donovan Copley, as Copley finds trouble once more.
And very unfortunate to see that. I mean, looked like we was going to have a good green flag run going. A couple of guys getting spun after the caution back here. But check it out, Donovan Copley right here on the bottom. He's one of the lap cars on the field. Not sure exactly what wow, it looks like he actually was going to drop to the bottom of the racetrack and actually stop. But we actually had some accidents going on right after this right here. Gavin McCool in the Ford, check him out right there. You see him on your screen, Gavin McCool. He's going to end up getting right up here, and then eventually, wow, that might be beef right there, David. Gavin McCool just gets straight up turned on the backstretch. There's the main caution right there. Somebody going straight up into the fence, the 7-11 of Michael Fritz. Wow, and that is beef right there, David. I will call that 100%. That is straight up beef. Gavin McCool had to send him in the corner. There you see the contact, and Fritz was not happy about it and sent his displeasure back to the number 4 car, sent him straight back into the fence. A couple of other guys getting involved right here. Masevich, this was before all of that. Wow, chaos happening tonight at Bristol. I love it.
In hard-fought action, you're going to see some tempers flaring as you're looking at the caution once again. And big-time contact, not just with that number 4 getting a piece of it. Gavin McCool going to be sideways, but also a few other drivers getting a taste as well. Yellow flag flies, 30 laps in out of 100, and the iRacing official pace car has the lights off, which means 1 lap to green this time by. Hill, Laster, Jeff Maconi. That's your top 3, and Tobias Matheson right there with them as well. As we'll be set to go back to the action nearly a third of the way through. Not a lot of green flag laps just yet, but we'd certainly love to get some more time in. The Javelin machine going to be up at the top of the board, and it's now time to get back at it for restart number 4. It's going to be the number 28 machine, Jordan Hill, getting right back at it. Pace cars in, and here we go again from Bristol, underway, led by the number 28s.
Jordan Hill down on the bottom, Laster trying to get the run on the top side. Got a little shove from Tobias Matheson on the top side, but the top side is not where you want to be on these restarts, as Jeffrey Maconi's going to go all the way to the penthouse, trying to take the lead as we got cars all over the place back here in the back. Everybody spinning, sliding, everybody trying to find a way to get around it. One car just damn near killed the barrels going into the pits. But wow, we got chaos everywhere, all over the place. Everybody wrecking here at Bristol.
Yellow flag out again, and it looks like more trouble this time by another driver retiring. Rodney Gard looking on board with Andrew Ford. Looking at this machine, number 69 going to take the track blocking route. Alex Sainz going to get contact, and an instant replay shows you another huge hit. Alex Sainz going to get involved. In addition, looks like the number 62 machine of Donovan Copley, a little more damage that ends his night. You'll see when the banking is blocked, you got to go down the apron, and that's a risk. 50-50 shot, making out without trouble.
Yeah, and Mark Thrash is the one that got caught right there in the middle of this. You're going to see this right there. Yeah, Mark Thrash, he's the one that came down into Clinard on the bottom side. And, you know, McDowell kind of made that happen. You know, he didn't know he was actually 3 wide. He didn't know Thrash was going to come up. You see McDowell come down, gets into Thrash. Thrash comes all the way down. It's a chain reaction. McDowell gets spun around. Thrash goes up into the 44. Everybody ducking, dodging, trying to take whatever action they can. But you see it right here. I mean, Thrash is going to come down. There's the door. Thrash, excuse me, that was the 69 of McDowell. He's trying to make sure he don't get into the fence. So he comes down, gives Thrash a little door. Thrash comes down, hits the other guy. all hell breaks loose. Everybody trying to keep the car straight. You see all these other guys back here in the back riding on board with Rick Goodall. He's trying to keep it straight. Wow, I mean, that right there, even though he got a little bit of damage, great driving by Goodall to get through all of that right there. It looks like the pace lights are back out once again. Here we go again, David.
And we had some troubles getting some green flag racing, but tonight we're not done trying. This time by the iRacing official pace car doesn't sting, drops down to pit road and lets Jordan Hill get back in action. Maconi's on the outside line, but the 28 leads the way once more after we're back on the move here in Bristol. 35 laps in out of 100. So far, so good for the front runners, breaking away again, side by side beyond your leading driver. And now you're going to see Caleb Klenner to the number 196, making it down to the lower groove. Tobias Matheson fades back to 5th. Brandon Evans going to be the 6th spot right now with some contact and some competition right behind him. Right on board right now with Brandon Evans as he chases down Matheson, who's right ahead of the aforementioned Matheson. Running well tonight, was involved in one of the caution, but so far so good when it comes to his performance in this race. Single file going to become a high and low game, as you'll see right now. Some drivers opting to take that bottom groove. Others going to be a bit more competitive using the higher side, and the reason is low and high, distance versus momentum. Some drivers just have a better chance if they cut that distance down and make it through the corner quicker when it comes to how much time they have to use per section of the track. Bristol can be a bit more than half mile, a bit less than a half mile, depending on where you take it. And right now, Jeff Maconi goes to the bottom with another caution out. This time, the reason, Michael Davis brings out the yellow as the number 40 machine goes around, and it's now lap 39, yellow number 5.
We're going to take a look and see exactly what happened to Michael Davis right here. I mean, he's just trying to try to get it home, if you will, right here. Looks like the 44 also gets involved once again. Very unfortunate. Excuse me, the 711. Both their cars kind of looked about the same, but it was a huge stack up over there off of turn number 2. You're going to see what happens right here. Ford's all the way up to the top. Just gets straight up thrown in the fence, and then the 711, nowhere for him to go. Davis comes down, gets into his right front, sends him around, sends him into the pit lane wall. But David, I mentioned this already. You know, turn 2, it gets really, really tight over there. We've seen a lot of the accidents happen coming off of turn number 2. That's where most of our cautions has happened here this evening. As we see a lot of drivers electing to come down and get 4 fresh tires. Remember, they have unlimited tires, so they can take as many tires as they want. But here's the key about this. They got to go all the way around the track. They get on pit road coming off of turn 2. They got to go all the way around below the blue line that you'll see right there on the apron. Have to go all the way around, get to their pit box, and then they can go in, get their service, and then get on out. So Brayton Laster looks like he's going to lead them down pit road. Jordan Hill, Jeffrey Maconi, and Clennard and Brummett, that's the top 5. But, wow, I'm telling you, we have seen some fantastic racing here tonight, David. Even though we've seen a lot of cautions, a lot of beef happen out there, if you will, still seen honestly, a hell of a show so far.
And for the racing that we have seen, it has been fantastic. We're keeping an eye on that top left portion of the screen here. 33 minutes and 47 seconds left in terms of time, and we're 41 laps into this race. So we might be on the bleeding edge of seeing a second consecutive race go down in time, not laps. And as we saw both last week, it was a Daytona with the Riley prototypes. It came down to the race being shortened at the last lap, moments before crossing for the white flag. They didn't get there. The white flag became the checkered, and it was a tricky situation to call. It was a fantastic finish, but it was just 1 lap short of where we should have been, our 40-lap destination. We didn't get there, ended at lap number 39. Tonight shouldn't be much of a worry because Bristol is a fast track in terms of laps. Even pit cycles have been quick as we've done them mostly under caution. That time by, Jordan Hill had a 47-second lap under pacing, which is the average lap time at a track maybe like Daytona if you have that full-on draft behind you. The pack is big at a track like Daytona. Not so much here. These half-mile circuits rely more on your individual pace as they'll come around again. Jordan Hill leads from Caleb Clennard, Dylan Potts, Henry Caloff, and Andrew Ford now rounds out the top 5 as we're set to get back to the green flag at the end of our next lap. So look out, as there's going to be one driver dropping it way down low, and it's Aaron Shiflett, and it looked like he sent it way too deep. He was getting loose, and it looks like he's going to get in trouble. but get out of it. So Aaron Shiflett finds the gap. It's just a kiss on the wall, but nothing major for anyone, even though it was a dramatic entry for that number 2.
Yeah, Aaron Shiflett, send it Shiflett, as Brayton Laster would call on that. That's exactly why we give him the nickname. It doesn't matter if it's under pace laps, if it's under green flag. Hell, it don't matter if it's on the last lap. Send it Shiflett will do it any way he can as the pace car pulls off. Leave them in the hands of Jordan Hill and Caleb Clennard. Hill gets a fantastic restart as we're back under green. Right behind him, Dylan Potts trying to see if he can find a way down on the bottom side. He will get clear. Right behind him, you got the 63 and Kyle Brummett. Brummett's going to shove it straight down to the bottom of the racetrack, try to find a way around the 63. Advance in line as everybody trying to get lined up and trying to get up here, get some green flag laps. A lot of drivers already having to be out of the race because of damage. Some having to retire from the event. But wow, we have a huge battle up here for this third spot, as Dylan Potts trying to hold on to it. Brummett and Maconi coming hard down on the bottom, and here comes Brayton Laster trying to follow him on the inside.
Brayton Laster going to go down in the bottom groove. It's Henry Kaloff right up high, and it's now going to be a gaggle of drivers going for the top spots as they make it through cleanly under green. Side-by-side racing is going to give way to Jeff Maconi chasing down Kyle Brummett. Brummett's got the final spot on the podium, but this is a fierce battle in play to find out if anyone can take that next position. 47 laps in out of 100. So far, so good for guys like Jordan Hill and his company, as Jordan's led the most laps so far in this race. But there's still a ways to go to decide whether or not he can really seal the deal. Now the 36 of Brayton Laster drops down low. He got passed by Henry Kaloff, and now it's going to be Kaloff being chased down by the Pizza Man. You'll see the helmet in the rear view mirror. It's going to be barely visible there, but you'll see the pepperoni pizza pattern on that helmet. And there's a much better look at it, a much different look than most helmets here in iRacing. And the identity of Brayton Laster, of course, not only his real racing persona, but the virtual realm, the Pizza Man, always has a slice of pepperoni pizza with him just about wherever he goes. Right now running very well in the 6th spot for the Maconi Setup Shop crew. You'll see the sponsorship on the side of the street stock he's running. Got passed by Kaloff, but still running solid inside the top 10 as they'll make it around this time by with 50 laps remaining.
And I am very happy to get the pepperoni pizza helmet off the screen, because I'm telling you, that was making me very hungry. But I'll tell you another driver that is very hungry. That's the 27 of Kyle Brummett. He has chased down both of the leaders, Hill and Clennard. Clennard all the way to the top. Brummett's going to try to shove it down on the bottom side, see if he can go for second. All this happening right behind Jordan Hill, who has put on a great showing here this evening. Clennard gets a little bit loose on the top side. Brummett trying to hold it down on the bottom. Right behind him, Jeffrey Maconi's trying to claw his way, see if he can slide up there. But Clennard all the way up at the top, and Brummett giving Clennard a lot of room on the top side, trying not to shove him straight into the fence. Good racing right here for this 2nd spot as Brummett trying to work him over.
And it's going to be a very fierce battle at the front of the field right now. Kyle Brummett trying to make way. The triple-digit action. It's the threat of 196 running up in front. Andrew Ford finds trouble. He'll go down a pit road. No major issue there. Riding on board once again with Jeff Maconi coming through this time by 46 laps to go. The Maconi Setup Shop crew with their boss man in the middle of the fight. Now Kyle Brummett right ahead. Brayton Laster just a few spots back. Overall running very well inside the top 10, but there's still a lot of pressure here as Caleb maintains his 2nd spot. High side, it's a tricky one to work with, but it's worked out quite well for Caleb at this point as they all try to chase down Jordan Hill just ahead.
And this racing is getting tighter and tighter as Hill gets a little bit loose off of 4. He's going to slip back into the clutches of Brummett and Caleb Clennard. Now Hill's got to try to figure out which lane he wants to block. Does he want to go to the top or the bottom? He blocks the top going down, going down into the straightaway. Then he blocks the bottom going into the corners, as we're going to have a caution on the speedway that is going to halt this hard action. I'm sure that Jordan Hill is very, very tickled to see the caution come out right there, because he was fixing to get eaten up big time by Kyle Brummett and Caleb Clennard.
And it looks like another yellow flag, as you mentioned. And after what was our longest green flag run, we're looking back at it. Michael Provo going to be involved. It looks like it's going to be a traditional bump, but not quite a run. It's going to be up the track. There we see it. Michael comes up there. Thankfully, no other contact, but it's still going to be a safety caution to bring us back under yellow with 42 laps to go. Instant replay will show you one more time. It's going to be a bump from Gavin McCool. And there we have it again. Caution's out, and it's going to be Michael Provo and the number 4, Gavin McCool, both the causes.
And it's going to get very interesting to see some of these guys maybe try to go down pit road. One of them is going to be our leader, Jordan Hill, who was fixing to get eaten up and swallowed by Caleb Clennard and Kyle Brummett. So I saw that right there coming with Jordan Hill going in. I mean, he was really struggling right there on the front side. He will give way, go in, get 4 fresh tires. A couple of other drivers looks like they are going in. But that will surrender the lead to Caleb Clennard, who started this race 14th and is all the way up to the front. Going to be sitting in the lead spot. Jeffrey Maconi, some of these other drivers also going in as well. But Jordan Hill looks like he is on pit road for an extended period of time right here. Very extended period of time. We'll see if he can beat some of these other guys coming off of pit road right here.
And with 40 laps to go, pit road going to be busy with leaders such as Jordan Hill, and these pit stops can cost you a lot of time, and sometimes it comes down to laps. I mean, 40 laps to go, and it looks like already some trouble for the guys who are staying way back on pit road. As it stands, it's Lonnie Estep who's going to be the leading man, and Lonnie's going to be there in timing and scoring. Colton Garbacorda is going to be up there, and looks like Gambacorda leads the way from Gavin McCool, Rick Goodale, and Kyle Brummett. Your top 5 as it stands. Set to get back to the racing once more here in Bristol. Your front runners who are there beforehand are going to take it down a pit road, and this will leave Lonnie with the overall race lead on a 28-lap tire stint. This looks like the one and only pit stop most drivers will make. No other reason to make a trip down a pit road. As the 76 machine parts it, it looks like Lonnie's going to have to wait for your pace car, as we'll see drivers flying by at race pace, strategy still playing out, and this might be the only pit stop to really take note of here. So Jacob, with that in mind, strategy playing out, you think it's going to make any impact on who's going to have a chance to fight for the win?
If we can get a long green flag run in, yeah, I think it's going to have a lot to do with it, honestly, David. That's if we get that long green flag run, and we have seen some long green flag runs, but nothing to the extent of 39 laps. So honestly, I really do hope that this strategy with some of these guys going in, getting tires and everything, I hope we get a long green flag run, get this thing all the way to the end without a caution. I mean, granted, we all love to see cautions. We all love to see cars get wrecked and see cars flipping and all that cool entertainment, but we also want to see hard, good, clean racing, and that's what I think we may end up seeing right here. But only time will tell if we get that, and it's gonna be a dogfight to the end. All these guys that went in and got those tires, they're gonna eat these guys alive right here, especially if this sucker goes green to the end.
There's still a possibility to get those green flag laps. 24 minutes on the clock, 63 laps in out of 100. There's still going to be a fair chance to get there to the 100th and final lap, but nothing certain here on Fast Fridays, and the chaos continues as the pace car drops down to pit road. This time by, it's going to be Mark Thrash and Colton Gambacorda leading us to the green flag once again.
Gambacorda on the top. Thrash gets a fantastic restart. It's going to slide right down in front of Gavin McCool. Check out Brayton Laster's going to muscle his way up on the bottom side, slip right past Brandon Evans. Now you got McCool, you got Laster, you got Evans. Brummett on the top. He's going to get the run on Gambacorda. Wow, Brummett shoves it in there, sends it in very, very hard as Thrash trying to find a way to try to get away from all of the Hornets' nest behind him. But Gambacorda's still trying to hold on to this bottom side as Brummett's going to get clear. Everybody else dogging it out, fighting for every little bit that they can.
And it's a dogfight here, as you mentioned. Drivers as close as they've been all night long. And the driver, the number 43 machine, Mark Thrash, tries to take it deep for the race lead once again. Looking now at, of course, that's going to be Kyle Brummett. And it's going to be down to the bottom side with 35 laps to go. Caution out. And Aaron Shiflett looks to be the cause as he's going to drift down to the bottom of the track. No other issue. And it looks like Aaron, 9 laps down as is, brings out the caution with no other involvement from the rest of the field. He taps the 8th apron, comes down low, goes right up top, and just coming back up the track, not hitting the brakes. That's the cause of the yellow, and that will bring us back to pacing once again. Nothing much else to it, a simple caution and a safety caution to make sure nobody involved with that incident. Aaron Shiflett, 9 laps down, brings the yellow flag out with 33 laps remaining.
And he sent it, all right, David. He sent it straight into the fence right there. I mean, it's very hard to try to hold on to these street stocks, and you're seeing a lot of it. Most of it is because because they're breaking rear traction, and the reason they're breaking that rear traction is because somebody's hitting them in the ass and it's knocking them up the track and trying to get them slid around. As it looks like Shiflett getting DQ'd for that right there. So Shiflett not able to hold on to his car. He's going to have to send it straight out of Bristol Motor Speedway. Aaron Shiflett is done for the evening. So, wow, very, very heartbreaking for Shiflett. But, I mean, if you can't hold your car straight, get him out of there, the way I look at it. I mean, wrecks happen, cautions happen. But if you can't hold on to it just for that particular point right there, yeah, I agree. Send them out.
And with 9 laps down for that number 2 machine before he was disqualified, no reason to really be racing like that so hard you're going to turn the damn thing around. So unfortunately, of course, for his sake, Aaron Shiflett finds himself disqualified, but really no point to be driving like that in the situation. A lap machine brings us back to the yellow flag. It's a safety caution. And just like that, we're back under yellow with 21 minutes on the board and now 31 laps to go. Set to go back green to the 30 to go point. We've still got a crowd of about 17 drivers on the track, going back to Sambo McKinsley in the 26th position. I'm David Kreutz, joined by Jacob Reeves in the broadcast booth tonight. You're watching Maconi Entertainment and our exclusive coverage of Fast Fridays, brought to you by the Maconi Setup Shop. Kyle Brummett and Mark Thrash were having a hell of a battle for the lead before we got to our caution, and here they'll go again with the green flag dropping back in the air now with Kyle Brummett getting a jump on the field.
Brummett was going to take the lead anyway, honestly, David, even if the caution didn't come out. But now Brummett's going to have sole possession of that lead. Thrash is going to be bumped back to second. How about this dogfight for third as Brayton Laster and Jeff Maconi get around Gabacorda? So, wow, Brayton Laster, the pizza man, he is sensing that it is time to cook it up a notch here at Bristol, and he is making it work, trying to get up here and get a hold of Brummett and Thrash. You see the Hornet's nest behind them back there, guys, trying to find a way to try to advance in position. One of them is Caleb Clenner trying to find his way around Gavin McCool. But up front, Brayton Laster really starting to put the pressure on Thrash and Brummett.
Now you're going to see it's going to be a 3-car battle for the race lead, and maybe even a 4th with Jeff Maconi. Now Jeff's going to find himself right behind 2 of his teammates, looking to get himself up, maybe not just in the podium battle, but in the winning battle as they come through this time by 27 laps to go. And you're going to see Maconi now making the lunge down to the bottom side. Laster stays top. He'll move up to the higher groove, and now they're going to have to let the boss through for at least a chance of the position. But the high side comes back to bite Jeff, and just like that, Brayton Laster takes that 3rd place right back in his hands.
And look at all the sparks flying out from up under Brayton Laster's car, and even Thrash's car. You see the sparks flying. These street stocks, very, very heavy with the G-forces that they have going into the corner. And Jeffrey Maconi saw what Laster did, saw what he got going on that top side. Maconi thinks of it, and he says, you know what, I'll take this top side. I'll see if I can run, try to gain some momentum, as we got a caution back in the field, halting all of this hard racing back up front once again.
Caution's going to be out for Michael Provost this time by, so Michael's going to have some trouble. And just like that, yellow flag is out yet again. As they come through this time by, it's going to be the instant replay here in Maconi Entertainment. You'll see Gavin McCool and Henry Kaloff get slowed down. But it looks like Michael went around in particular, and you'll see he's going to have the back bumper crawling up on him, and it's going to be a tap. Just like that, loose on the front stretch, similar in nature to Aaron Shiflett's incident as he went down to the bottom side of the track, but it's going to be inflicted contact from another driver that brings us back to pacing. So the yellow flag is out once more as it's going to be contact given. It's going to be impact taken as it's going to be all Michael Provost losing those track positions. Now Provost's going to be out of 13th as with 22 laps to go, we're back under caution.
And Provolt, he's been just trying to hang on for every little bit that he's got. That car is beat all to hell. The front bumper completely gone. The right front's completely gone. He's just trying to hold on for every little bit that he can and just try to salvage today's events. But check it out, Kyle Brummett, he's going to dump it down. He's going to go down pit road. Thrash goes down. Looks like Brayton Laster, he's going to stay out on the racetrack with Jeffrey Maconi. A couple of other drivers going in as well. Brandon Evans, one of those, as well as Caleb Cleddard. So differing strategies happening right now. Some guys electing to stay out, some guys electing to go ahead and go in and get those unlimited 4 fresh tires. So this is when it's going to be really key. We've seen Brummett, we've seen Jeffrey Maconi, and we've seen Laster. We've seen the speed that all 3 of those drivers have had. We've even seen some of the speed that Michael Davis has had. I mean, hell, he's one of the reasons why we are up under this caution right here when he got into Provo. So we're going to see a great big-time deal of strategy right here with some of these guys that elected to stay out, some of the guys that decided to go in and get those 4 fresh tires. Those guys up front, I hope that they saved a little bit of tire, because if they didn't, they're going to get eaten alive. As we still got 20 laps to go in this race right here, David.
And you mentioned these guys are on a much older run of tire, but the problem is here, at the same time, if you get down a pit road to get those newer tires, you might have lost enough track position where it doesn't matter that advantage. And we'll see contact, one man to the wall, and it looks like down the front straightaway, they're beating and banging bumper cars as there's continuous trouble. And it looks like now drivers getting back into it. Lonnie Estep has some trouble, and it looks like one driver getting up into the wall. Here's an instant replay. Yes, that's going to be beating and banging. The number 20 machine of Rick Goodale stacks them all up, and Lonnie is going to end up getting the last of it, just like that. Some more trouble here as the chaos continues in Fast Fridays. Jeff Maconi, Brayton Laster, that's your front row, and then from there you're going to see Michael Davis and Dylan Potts 3rd and 4th respectively. Kyle Brummett rounds out the top 5 this time by, and will get set back into action with less than 19 laps to go. Jeff Maconi, your race leader after 82 laps.
And Brayton Laster is going to be on the top side. Michael Davis will be 3rd. Going to have Dylan Potts in 4th. Caleb Cleddard will be 5th. Kyle Brummett, just mentioned him. He is one of the hardest drivers out here in the field. He's going to have a real big shot at this if he can find his way back up to the front in the next 20 laps. Brandon Evans, we talked about the decorated career that he has had here on iRacing. Greg Koloff will be right behind him as well. A lot of drivers up here still got a shot to win this damn thing, so we'll see what happens as the pace car pulls off. Jeff Maconi down on the bottom. Brayton Laster all the way up top. Green flag back in the air. Maconi gets a good start, but Brayton also gets a fantastic restart as well. Both drivers drop to the bottom as they're 3 wide right behind them for that 3rd spot.
And they're going to be already making big contact. Caleb Cleddard involved, not to mention number 41 of Dylan Potts. The caution is out once again, and the immediate yellow flag will bring us back to pacing with only now 18 laps to go. Caution is out. And taking a look at it once again, 3 wide early. They're going to beat once, bang twice, and looks like the triple-digit threat is going to be taken up to the top of the track. Caleb Cleddard, who was fighting for the lead earlier, gets a piece of it, and now we'll be looking on board with Gavin McCool as another caution coming out, and a huge jump on the restart there on that 3rd row.
Yeah, I mean, he tried to make a jump at it. Potts may have saw that Cleddard was going to be rolling pretty hard right here in the middle, so he let him have it. And then from there, I mean, Potts, actually, he just came down and just doored him. He just came down straight up right, hooked him straight into the fence. I mean, there's no question about that. Cleddard had a great restart, jumping up in the middle lane. And then Potts, you see him just all over his door, and then comes down, gets him one more for good measure, and then ends up cleaning him out, ends up cleaning out about 4 or 5 of them. You see Rick Goodall also getting involved. A bunch of drivers, even Potts getting involved in this as well from when he initiated. We're going to ride on board right here with Dylan Potts. You're going to see he jumps up, trying to go through the gears, comes down, he doors Cleddard, and then he just comes down once again. Cleddard may have come up just a little bit, but Potts initiated even more contact and came down, and he just kept coming down until Cleddard wasn't even there. I mean, you see great restart from the back. A couple of drivers trying to slide up here and get in the middle of this, but here it is. Cleddard, he may have come up. He came up the first time. I'll give him that. He tried to come up and push it 3 wide. Potts may have had enough of it and just sent him straight into the fence.
Now with 15 laps to go, tempers are still flaring, and you'll see a jump on the restart. Looking on board now with Rick Goodale in that number 20, 1 lap down at the time of the yellow flag, still is to this point. Caleb Clinton's going to disconnect after the incident, and you'll see going to go all the way down the apron, and Rick gets a piece of it and ends up in the wall all the same. We're going to get back to the live feed this time by with the pace car down and in. Here we go again. Jeff Maconi, Brayton Laster, and Kyle Brummett lead the way as we get back to it this time by. Maconi's got the top spot with some pushing and shoving up in front. The podium breakthrough. Rest of the field, not so much, as you'll see now the pack getting smaller and smaller with each passing lap.
And here goes Brayton Laster. He's going to go to the bottom. He's going to leave Jeffrey Maconi up on the top side. Keep in mind that the top side is where you want to be. That is where you can get the momentum. Maconi's going to be able to get it done. Laster cannot jump up. Here comes Kyle Brummett shoving through on those fresh tires. Goes from the top down to the bottom. Gets to the inside of Jeffrey Maconi. This is going to be a battle for the win, potentially, as Kyle Brummett still trying to hold hard on the bottom lane. Maconi's still up top trying to keep it going as the field is fighting their tails off right behind him as Brummett almost gets into Maconi at the line.
And now it is the heat that's on in Bristol. It's the final 11 laps on the day. Going to bring it down to the single digits very soon. And Jeff Maconi's got himself a handful on the high side. It's a Maconi 1, 2, 3 up in front. And it looks like it could keep that way so long as they stay straight and keep their wheels pointed in the right direction. Brayton Laster's going to be third right now with Kyle Brummett leading the way. Kyle's got the advantage over Jeff Maconi, but only just, as Maconi ends up on the second group right now with some pressure from Brandon Evans, not too far behind. Trouble in the back of the field. Looks like Mark Thrash loses time. Caution is out. 9 laps to go. Mark Thrash and Michael Davis collide, and that might be the final yellow in the night. And just like that, the number 4 gets a piece of it. So does, it looks to be, Colton Garmacorda, and the yellow flag out with another huge hit up to the top of the track. And when you go up high there, you get that hook on the right rear. There's no coming back, and there's really no saving it.
Yeah, Thrash just straight up lost it going into turn 3. I mean, he sent it in there very, very hard. You're going to see it right here on the instant replay. He sends it in. You can already see right there. I mean, he's already turning left and right. He just straight up loses it. Gets into Michael Davis, sends him around. There goes Gavin McCool. He gets involved. Big pileup right here on the front straightaway, but that is very, very typical in these street stocks to where, I mean, you just got to be very careful when you go in the corner. You got to be very careful. Big, hard contact right there by Davis and Mark Thrash. Gavin McCool, innocent bystander, but wow, they knocked the hell out of the wall right there coming off of turn 4. Straight up T-boned it. Check out Lonnie Estep right behind him. He sees every bit of it, trying to get on the brakes, trying to get down. Wow, I mean, that right there, that's hard to call right there on where you go at that point, because they hit the wall, you think they're going to come down, but you don't know 100% if they're going to come down. So you want to try to stay up top, not able to do it. I mean, that's a track blocker right there, as you was calling earlier, David. That's a straight up track blocker. Don't know which way to go. You just don't know where they're going to go at that point. Hate it for Lonnie Estep. I mean, he was having a pretty good run this evening inside the top 10, but very unfortunate as we do see Jeffrey Maconi. He's going to ease it down pit road, go ahead and get him 4 fresh tires, and Brayton Laster's actually going to stay out on the racetrack. So Jeffrey Maconi, he's going to take a risk right here with almost 5 laps to go coming to the end of this race. He's really going to have to get rolling, but David, there's only 7 cars that's on the lead lap, so he doesn't have to pass a whole lot of cars to try to get back up there and get the win. But I think he saw Kyle Brummett on those fresh tires. Jeffrey Maconi wants to try to duplicate what Kyle Brummett did just right there.
And not only are there only 7 cars in the lead lap, but there's only now going to be 5 laps to go on the lead lap. Of course, it's going to be Kyle Brummett, Brayton Laster, Brandon Evans, Tobias Matheson, Michael Provo, Dylan Potts, and Jeff Maconi, with Lonnie Estep now getting that lap back and putting himself in 8th, as it looks like some trouble right now for one driver in particular. Looks to be Andrew Ford, who gets it straight. No major issue otherwise, as he'll get back going this time by. It's going to be our potential final restart. 4-lap dash. If we get back to the white flag under green, the race will be official and the 100-lap distance will be preserved. If not, we're going to find ourselves with an action-packed night that could go into overtime, but we're running out of time in the same vein. 96 laps in out of 100. Here we go again, and it's going to be Kyle Brummett and Brayton Laster, your front row, with 4 laps to go. Let's bring them back, this time through under the green. It's going to be Brummett with the jump and Brayton Laster just behind.
Brummett gets a fantastic start. Brayton Laster actually gets a decent enough restart to jump back down on the bottom of the racetrack. Tobias Matheson trying to run back here in third to maybe go for a podium, but Brandon Evans thinks different of it. Here comes Evans down on the bottom. Right behind him, Michael Provost. He's went through all hell and back here this evening. He's up into the top 5, but Jeffrey Maconi trying to find a way on the inside, maybe trying to sneak it in there. But wow, coming to 2 laps to go. Has anybody got anything for Kyle Brummett? As Brummett trying to hold on to the sleeve of Brayton Laster, trying to run him down.
And it's going to be a white flag, this time by for Kyle Brummett with Brayton Laster in the runner-up position. Catbird seat for Brayton as they come through, this time by for the final lap in Bristol. It's going to be official, 100 laps of racing, and this is it. Brummett's got the advantage through turns 1 and 2 with Brayton Laster right behind. If Brayton can lunge it deep, that's the final shot he's got. He'll take it through 3 and 4, but the last great Coliseum will go to Kyle Brummett, winner from Bristol, and the Street Stock King tonight is Kyle Brummett with the number 27, winning for Maconi Setup Shop. Brayton Laster second and Brandon Evans third as the celebration begins at the half-mile oval.
And that looks like how we celebrate with Maconi Setup Shop. Just drive in there and just punt him. Give him all the love in the world that you can. Brayton Laster tried to give it to him, even Brandon Evans as well. But great run. I mean, they still punted him and give him all the love they could, but didn't tear his car up enough for him to do a burnout. Kyle Brummett gonna burn it down right here on the front straightaway. A bunch of guys within the Maconi Setup Shop stable gonna get out here, burn it down as well. Evans, Tobias Matheson. But, I mean, Brummett had the strategy. Brummett done it perfect. He pitted at the right time. He was able to jump out and get the lead. Laster didn't go in. Jeffrey Maconi, one of the drivers that did go in on that last pit stop, he basically just shot himself in the foot. I mean, that's exactly what it was. He basically shot himself in the foot, as I'm sure he's expressing his displeasure about his moves right there, but don't take it out on Brummett. But anyway, I mean, you know, he done what he needed to do. He thought what he needed to do. Didn't work out for Jeff. Worked out for Kyle Brummett. He gets the win tonight.
And the victory goes to Kyle Brummett. We'll bring it back after a brief promotional break courtesy of our friends at Maconi Setup Shop. Top 3 interviews coming after this as we'll return in just a moment. You're watching live on Maconi Entertainment.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And returning from the Bristol Motor Speedway, your top 3 are in our waiting room getting an interview, and we're going to show you results just before we get a word. Kyle Brummett will win from Brayton Laster in second. It'll be Brandon Evans third and Tobias Matheson then position number 4. Michael Provost will round out in the top 5 with Dylan Potts in 6th, Jeff Maconi 7th, and Lonnie Estep in 8th, with Henry Kaloff 9th and Andrew Ford rounding out the top 10, 3 laps down.
And Gavin McCool, 9 laps down. He'll finish 11th with Michael Davis in 12th. Mark Thrash will get 13th. Give it to Colton Cabarda. He put on a great show. He was up front, had a real good shot at winning this thing. Unfortunately, 9 laps down, he will get 14th. Got Rick Goodall. He will be 15th. With Caleb Clennard, he will be 16th. Jordan Hill, who was up front leading for a good portion of the race, looks like he actually disconnected 41 laps down. He will finish 17th. With Sambo McKinsley in 18th. Looks like it's Alex Sainz in 19th, and Michael Fritz will round out the top 20.
And it looks like now, looking through our results from this event, 1 man on top, 3 drivers on the podium, and luckily tonight we have access to each and every one of which. Kyle Brummett with us right now, our winner from the last great Coliseum, and tonight you had to work for it, and you had some great drivers right behind you till the very end. Checkered flag is yours after a thrilling night in the last great Coliseum. How's it feel winning here on Fast Fridays?
It feels pretty good, especially this only being my 3rd race. Almost got Iowa, finished 2nd. Then at Daytona, that was a crapshoot, and I think I come home 6th. And then I told everybody Bristol's my track. It takes a heck of a person to beat me here. I hold the track record in like 8 to 9 cars in official series, and I knew when I come in I had a good piece. The only downside was I made a mistake to start the race. I thought the top would be the way to go on cold tires, and it let Joey get under me, and unfortunately we made contact on lap 4, ending his night. But other than that, I come back through the field, didn't have any contact, and pitted with 20 to go there, and I told Jeff, I was like, you boys better pit, and they didn't want to listen, and that's ultimately what got them beat.
And a pit strategy call is going to make the difference tonight. We didn't see all too many cautions, or rather, we didn't see any cautions with the pit cycle in mind. A lot of yellow flags, but not many came down to that strategy. But that call to go for a shorter run at the end, 20 laps, newer tires, that's a big deal. And that's the difference between winning and losing for you. So how was it understanding the new tires as the way to go for the rest of the night?
When I got mired back in traffic, I was able to pass pretty easily back there. But then when I got up to about 4th or 5th, I got pinned. I'm not sure who the driver was, but it was a pink car. And I was much faster than him, but he was just able to lay on my door. And that was the point when I was like, well, tires matter. And I went and pitted, and the right front tire was at 92% after about 15 laps. So I kind of kept that to myself. Other than 20 to go, I told them they better pit. Really, I didn't want them to, but I just I thought it would be fair to tell them what my plans was. Me and Brandon Evans went down, and that sealed their fate.
And the strategy call, as you mentioned, sealing the fate of all behind. Kyle Brummett, you're a winner here in Fast Fridays, and great to have you here representing Maconi Setup Shop. And Fast Fridays all year long. These Friday nights are that much better with this racing exclusively on Maconi Entertainment. With that in mind, do we expect to see you back next week for another chance at Victory Lane?
I'm not sure if I'll be able to make it every Friday. I've been lucky the last 3 weeks in a row, but if I'm free, I'll definitely be here. Jeff is a great friend, a great partner. I actually race for another setup shop, but Jeff has welcomed me in with open arms to run his logos and to run these races, and they've treated me like a teammate. And so I just have to thank Jeff, Joey, Brandon Evans, everybody at Maconi, whether you're part of them or not, they treat me like family, and that's something that's very appreciative, and as long as I'm free, I'll be here.
And hoping to stay free for another shot at Victory Lane, it's Kyle Brummett, your race winner here from the Bristol Motor Speedway, and Jacob is going to be standing by with your second place driver, Brayton Laster, just 2/10 shy of the race win today.
Brayton Laster getting the second place finish here this evening. Brayton, before we even go into the racing, the question has to be, what kind of pizza did you have today? Because I guarantee you right now you had some pizza. What kind did you get?
Actually, today I went pizza free. Maybe I need to do that more often because I actually had an all right run.
Oh my goodness.
Today was like a chicken tender day. I had a lot of chicken tenders today, so that was the winning move. I felt like.
Wow. I was kind of waiting on a pizza frenzy on that one. I guess we're not going to get it. But anyway, Brayton Laster getting second. I mean, tell us about the race because, you saw Jeff go in. He goes in and gets the fresh tires. Were you thinking that maybe you might have messed up, or do you think you might be okay?
No, I never make mistakes. That was on Jeff. I told him it wasn't a smart move there, and counting on them boys pitted, and the only way they got around me was, but I played a little bit too nice there, and even on them older tires, you know what I'm saying, Haas? I mean, you know what I'm saying, and yeah, I think we made all the right moves. It was oddly, I don't feel like it was a strategy race. I don't feel like new tires were huge. It was more about getting the balance of the car right, going in the corner. And I knew I was on a little bit older rubber, and so there late in the race, I was kind of having to lift a little bit, but instead of lifting, I shouldn't say this, but I was staying full throttle, but I put my brake bias all the way to the rear to help me kind of pitch the car and get a better drive off, and that's how we were able to stay right up there with Kyle. Now I could move him around the way, but I'm a man of dignity, and Kyle hasn't won one in a hot minute, so I thought I'd give him that self-respect that he's been craving.
Awesome job, able to get it going tonight, Brayton Laster. He done a fantastic job, and listen to that right there, folks. Take the advice from the pizza man. He knows what he's doing big time. But Brayton, before we let you go, brother, do you have anybody that you want to thank that made this possible tonight?
Yeah, I told Jeff I was going to wreck him about 4 times, and we had a lot of fun there, and unfortunately I wasn't able to wreck him, so I don't know where we're going next week. You can vote on Twitter for anyone listening, and you can race in this very event next Friday. And I don't know where we're going, but I can't wait to wreck him in that one. And that's how I was going to wreck Brandon. That's how I was going to wreck Kyle. And then I think I might have was going to wreck Joey once or twice. So I don't think I wrecked anyone. Last time we went street stock racing at Dover, I killed half the field in their grandmas. So we were able to come out clean this time and had a lot of fun. And I got to thank Mr. Maconi. Put on an awesome gig. You guys did an awesome job of the broadcast. I went back and watched quite a bit. Him and Joe have an awesome thing going here. And kind of see how it grows. And unfortunately, Joey got wrecked out early on, but I think one of the team people up there, but we're not going to talk about that because, yeah. But it was a good race, man. I don't know if you guys saw it, man. That Apple One wreck, I was scooting and what rhymes with scooting? Scooting and tooting? We were tooting and scooting. And it had an awesome wreck avoidance there. So, yeah, everyone, awesome job. And I almost won this one, man. We weren't really a contention. We led 2 laps of the pit cycle, but we had fun. That's what matters.
That's all that matters here on Fast Friday. Brayton Laster, congratulations on the second place finish. And I believe we're actually bringing in another driver that finished up there in the podium spot. David, have you caught up with Brandon Evans?
And that we have. Brandon Evans rounds out our podium for tonight's event. We got a good look at him right now. The number 39 rounds out the podium. Great run overall, and looks like the strategy played out well to recover for that podium finish just behind both Kyle Brummett and Brayton Laster. Third place tonight for the last great Coliseum. How do you feel after a very chaotic event here in Fast Fridays?
Yeah, that was a fun one for sure. That early on wreck. I qualified right outside the pole, so that was good. I knew starting up front was going to be important. But yeah, that wreck and I got cleaned out from behind. So just trying to be patient, fix some damage. I didn't want to use my fast repair too early because I knew there was still going to be pileups. And then it kind of got down to what was like the top 5. Taking tires, tire strategy. Fuel was actually part of it earlier in the race. We didn't really know what was going to go down with that. So. But yeah, that's good recovery. Some of these guys race really hard, so that's always fun. Just the dirty air and such. You really have to be able to open this car up on the exit of the corner to kind of keep the momentum going, because you're virtually just full throttle the whole way around. But you got to pitch the nose and break the rear end loose just enough to maintain grip. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
And a lot of chaos to go with the green flag racing. Saw some great green flag moments and some fierce battling, but a lot of it was broken up by cautions and a very little opportunity to really get the racing developed. When you guys got up in front and kept it there, certainly looked like it was a lot more exciting than anything beforehand. Those final 20, 25 laps, beating and banging up in front, racing clean, but racing hard. So how was it up there with the whole Maconi crew racing for the top spot and then anything on back?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We were all in Discord talking crap while we were racing, so that was always funny. Just shooting the bull while we were lap for lap, bouncing off of each other and just trying to maintain pace. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I knew once the faster guys got up front, it was going to be a good race. So happy to be a part of it.
And when the best of the best get up there, always a fun fight on Fast Fridays. And Brandon, we've seen you quite a lot this year, making these races on Friday nights that much better. You expect to be with us next week for another great show?
Yeah, schedule permitting. We'll just kind of see what's going on with the family schedule. But yeah, I like to try to make it out as often as I can. Support the team, support the setup shop. So yeah, if I can and schedule permits, absolutely.
Brandon Evans concludes the podium here tonight. The number 39 machine wraps out your top three from the last great Coliseum, Bristol Motor Speedway. An exciting showdown all throughout. One more driver with us tonight, Jacob, catching up with fourth place finisher Tobias Matheson.
Yeah, Tobias Matheson, dude, you put on a fantastic show here this evening. Done a great job and everything. Just tell us about your race, bud, because it looked like you actually went through, I guess you could say, some hair-raising moments, if you will.
I mean, it was kind of wild of a race. I accidentally made a mistake of refueling, which messed up my right sides, but it was up and down all in general, and I accidentally took a guy out in the beginning, but it was overall an up and down race.
Are we expecting any type of, I guess you could say, some or some more contact from that driver that you kind of got into?
I don't know, but it was really fun over in general.
I mean, Tobias, we talked about this, earlier on. We talked about how these cars is. I mean, just for the folks at home, just tell them about, this track and, this this combination with the street stocks and, Bristol, because we don't usually see this kind of racing, I mean, really at all. So just, if you could just kind of give everybody at home, an idea of what it's like, especially from the driver's point of view.
It's really fast. It's tight, it's fast, and it's one hell of a track, and it burns up your right sides a bit, but it's really fun.
Well, awesome. Well, Tobias Matheson coming home fourth tonight. Tobias, you got anybody that you want to thank that made this possible?
I'd like to thank my family, my friends, and my supporters to help me get here to be able to race these, and thank Maconi Setup Shop to I respect everything that they've done.
All right. Well, Tobias Matheson getting fourth tonight. Tobias, congratulations on a hard run. We'll see you next week, bud.
Yeah, thank you. See you next week.
And as we return from our podium interviews and just a bit extra, it's a great field from Bristol that brings us to our final thoughts and conclude tonight's action at the last great Coliseum. Jacob, before we end things off, anything else you'd like to add for the viewers at home?
It was crazy. It was chaos from the drop of the green flag, David. I mean, you had wrecks, you had some beef that we usually love to see in short tracks. We usually love to see the short track tempers come out, and we saw a bunch of it tonight. We saw a lot of good, hard, clean racing, and for the folks at home that love the strategy point of view, you got to see that tonight. You got to see Kyle Brummett basically put on the strategy that he thought he needed to win the race. Brayton Laster as well, and even Jeffrey Maconi. I mean, hate it for him that it didn't work out, but a lot of strategy. I mean, you basically had everything that you wanted in this race. And Kyle Brummett, congratulations to him on the win. Hell of an effort, hell of a job, and a hell of an effort from the whole field to put on a fantastic race here this evening.
and always fantastic on Fast Fridays from the Bristol Motor Speedway, and a great way to end off a night from the last great Coliseum. We thank tonight's race sponsors, Maconi Setup Shop and Maconi Competitor Zone. Calling the action tonight was myself, David Kreutz, alongside Jacob Reeves in the booth, with Ryan Bauer producing. Thank you to all of our viewers watching tonight's racing action, and we hope you'll stay tuned to all of our social media pages for our next Fast Fridays race. And don't forget to turn us on every Monday night for the C-Fix Truck Series. This has been a production of the Maconi Entertainment team, and we will see you at the checkered flag.